Hi, I'm Catherine Tristan, author of the book Anxiety Rescue, and I'm here to talk to you today about choice. This is the second part of the series that I hope to help you overcome your stress and anxiety and panic attacks. The segment before, we were talking about awareness, how that mind is filled with thoughts of negativity that we're never even aware of, that can throw us headlong into more stress, more anxiety, and panic attacks. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about choice, how to make better choices than the one that are throwing us into those very negative and upsetting emotions. If you want to master your mind, you really have to master the ability to make better choices. Awareness and choice are your two most powerful tools. Today, choice. Now, what is choice? What does that mean? I didn't choose to get sick. I didn't choose to have a car accident. I didn't choose any of that. What do you mean choice? Well, we really can't control much of anything that happens to us in the outside world, can we? That's not what I'm talking about. Although you can't control what happens to you, your reaction to it is something that you can choose. How you process that, how you think about it, those are choices you are making. You can make productive choices that help keep you on a more even keel, or you can unconsciously, a lot of the times, make negative choices, which are going to keep you stuck in a pit of anxiety, panic, fear. So, we talked before about the number of negative thoughts in our mind. Well, I want you to find another part of your mind that is a big controller in anxiety and panic. And I'm going to count down from 3 and ask you to do something. Don't think about it too much, just do it. Just try it, it's a little exercise. 3, 2, 1. I would just like you to point to yourself. Don't think about it too much, just point to yourself. Now most people point here. Where did you point? People don't point to here in our ever analyzing and oftentimes negative brains. Don't point to the mouth, the chatterbox. They point here to the heart. Well, what does that tell you? To me, what it says is the essence of who we are lies more in the feeling part of us that's represented by our hearts and not by our analytical brains. If you think about it, what's the biggest heart day of the year? Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's heart's red. It celebrates love, positive emotions, happiness, joy, cute little things. Valentine's Day. Even our language is filled with references to the heart. I was heartbroken. It was heartfelt joy that I felt. I have a lot of heartache about this problem. Heart, it's a big part of who we are. Now, did you know that the heart contains a copy of every single neuropeptide receptor that's in the brain? You know, those endorphin things? The heart contains a copy of every single receptor that's found in the brain. And what that tells me is that the heart is actually a type of brain too. That this and this are intimately connected. Now, if you're feeling a lot of anxiety and panic, what's happening is that you're focusing and having unconscious choices on the negative side of that circuit. What I would like you to do is shift into the positive side and connect the head and the heart in a very happy way and not a very pained and worrisome way. So I want to tell you about 2 characters that I discovered. When I was overcoming my own anxiety, I found 2 characters in what I call the heart zone. Now the first character I call Earl. Earl is easily angered, rigid, and limiting. E-A-R-L. Earl is whiny. Earl remembers everything that ever hurt you and doesn't want you to do that again. But Earl is also the voice of survival. If you think about it, you come from an unbroken line of survivors. That wasn't so easy. That's because of your Earl side, the survivor side. But Earl is like your own police force whose motto is to serve and protect. Earl isn't trying to harm you, but Earl is feeding you with a lot of negativity, with a lot of limitations, with the idea to protect you. You have to decide whether you listen to that or not. But there's another side of the heart zone. I call that Pearl. Pearl is a lot quieter. Earl blares. Pearl whispers. Pearl is peaceful, earnest, adventurous, resilient, and loving. Pearl is that feeling you get when you look at a beautiful sunset, when you hold a newborn baby, when you look into the eyes of someone you love or care about. Those are feelings that I call Pearl. And how you balance those two sides determines whether you are living in a life of fear and limitation, or whether you're living in a life of peacefulness and enjoyment. We need to balance those two. Now, I have an example of how this works. Suppose you wake up in the morning, head into the bathroom, and as you do, you look past that mirror. Ugh, is that another zit? Am I gaining weight? I hate this hairdo. Boom, negativity. You're not even aware of it. You've programmed your day to begin with negative, self-defeating thoughts. Or you could just walk past that bathroom mirror same way and go, you sexy thing. You know, embrace humor. Everything doesn't have to be so serious. And we don't have to be so perfect like that we think we need to be. And there are lots of other examples that you can pull up if you really try to think about it. So, if you are living a life of stress and anxiety, you need to really become aware of how your mind is operating, and you need to master that. You need to make some basic decisions. Do I want to live this way? Do I hear this voice of negativity within me and limitation? Or do I disagree with that? If you want to overcome your fear, you have to learn to disagree. Thank that voice, because it's only trying to help you. Say, no, I don't agree with this. Make better choices than the ones that are sticking you with fear and anxiety and panic. This all begins, the process of you getting better begins from inside out. And it's up to you, because you're the only one who can fix you. You can heal yourself, but you have to make an effort to try. And it begins from inside out. And just remember, our thoughts create our lives. You must choose them wisely.